Hey there, tubers. Today's video is going to be on the replacement and or installation of a radio antenna on my Bobcat E42 R2 excavator. Now, what happened was I installed this backup camera on this machine a few days ago, and when you run that cable for that camera, you have to get behind the dash inside. And when I got inside here and opened this dash up, you just pop this off and you can get in there. And the first thing I saw was that bare wire. Figured that wasn't supposed to be that way. So after looking, that's my radio antenna, which has gone through the shielding and actually broken some of the wires, which would maybe explain why my radio stations don't come in quite as clear as I have on other machines. So after some convincing, the dealership agreed to give me a new antenna. Their thought was that the factory wouldn't send a machine out that way and that I must have done it, but I convinced them that I didn't, and they gave me this replacement. Now the Bobcat part number is 6676114, but this is a Jensen antenna, and the Jensen part number is 1181039. Now this is the antenna that they use on the majority of their machines. So you can get it just about anywhere, eBay, Amazon, and a bunch of miscellaneous places for quite a bit cheaper than what the dealership is selling them for. But like I said, the dealership gave me this one. So I'm going to throw that in today, and it should be a pretty straightforward deal. I just pull the old cable out and run the new one in. So I'll get this opened up and see if there's any special tools I need, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so the first tool we're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver, and we'll take the 4 bolts that hold this right hand as you're sitting in the seat speaker out, and right behind that speaker is where the antenna comes through the cab, and so that'll give us access to that. I'll get that pulled out, and then we'll see what it takes to get that antenna out. Alright, so the antenna access is right behind the speaker, which hopefully you can get in there and see it well enough. It's right there. So I think there's a nut on the antenna on the outside that we'll have to take off, and I think the whole antenna unit comes through that hole itself. So I'll get that nut taken off and see what's up with that. So there's the nut on the back of this antenna. That is a 22 millimeter. So I'll get that broke free, and then I'll pull that nut off, and in order to do that you've got to straighten the antenna out, and then the gasket, everything will slide off over the top of this antenna, and then I should be able just to push it through to the inside and then pull that cable out and slap the new one in. Okay, so the nut came off, slid right over the antenna, and as you can see, I should be able just to push that in. I'm hoping this gasket stays, and then I won't have to replace that. But I'll have to pull some slack on the inside and then try and pull that through. Alright, so I'm going to pull some slack here, and it comes up through this pillar in the side of the cab. The cable's right here. There's a big wad of it inside here, so there's plenty of it to pull up, and then I'll just pull this through here. Maybe get enough slack that I can get that antenna just pulled straight back out like that. So this looks like it's going to be maybe a two-hand job, so I'll have to put you guys down for a minute and I'll be right back. Alright, so that came out. You want to take note of how many washers are on here. They give you two, and they say that to use both of them if you're going through thin metal, which I could see that this is fairly thin, but apparently they only put one on from the factory, so I guess I'll do the same thing. So my next step will be to disconnect it here, which should just be pulling that out, and then I'm going to tie a piece of string around that and tape it up, and then when I pull it back through, that string will go back through with it, and I'll just tie the end of the new antenna to that string and pull it back through. It should be really simple. This is a pretty good sized pillar here. The tightest spot will be down here where all these wires go in, and then it runs on the back side of the vents. But I think if I tape it up well, I should be able to pull it through there no problem. So we'll see what happens, and be right back. Alright, so that worked pretty slick. Got it out, and as you can see, they did quite a number to this. Not sure why the dealership would have assumed I did it, but I guess anything to not pay out a warranty claim. So I'll just get that string off. I'll do the same thing to the new one, and I'll pull that string right back through here, and we should be good to go. Okay, so I've got this started now, and the trickiest part is going to be where it comes in back here. There's a cluster of wires, and it's a fairly tight fit, so you'll want to have to kind of guide it as you're doing it. Make sure it gets started good, and then it should be, once you get past this kind of cinch point, it should be easy as pie after that. Alrighty, this thing came through. I can see where they might have sliced that trying to feed that through. There's a lot of sharp plastic in there, and they probably just caught it on an edge, and as they were pulling it through, just kind of sliced it. But this should cure my problem. So now I'll get this one spacer back on here, like so, and then I'll feed this back through that hole, get the plastic gasket on the outside, and then put the nut back on, and this should be all she wrote. So there's the new one back through. I'm going to go ahead and use this old gasket. These are actually two pieces. This outer one has a lip on it so that this inner one kind of fits into it. So I'm going to just use the one that they had on here, since it's kind of already preformed when it was tightened down. And if it leaks, I'll throw the new one on, but I'm going to do this for now. I mean, this machine doesn't have hardly any hours on it, and so it's not like this is weathered. I'll get that put on, and then get the nut put on, tighten it down, and she should be race ready. Okay, so there she is, all installed. Everything snugged up. Now this is the way they had it from the factory. It doesn't get good reception this way, so you can, pull it out. Depending on how tight you put this, it might be a bear to turn. But I think I might just leave it out like this. It's still below the cab, still inside the swing. So I'll see how that works, and I'll adjust accordingly. Now I'll just get inside, put that speaker back in, connect the coax for the radio back up, put the dash together, and call this a done job. So radio speakers back in. Come down here, you can see that wire running right through there. Comes right up underneath here. And there is just a rat's nest of wires in here. I would have thought they would have done a lot nicer job of organizing these, but they're just kind of just everywhere in here. So just find a good spot for this that it's not rubbing on anything and doesn't interfere. And then just kind of push it all back together, and then just like that, it's back together. So fairly easy job. Not too bad at all. And if for some reason you've got a machine that doesn't have a radio in it, typically these machines come with 2 knockouts. They're little indentations in the paint, and that you can take a socket or a screwdriver and knock them out, and then you can install this stuff. Now this machine came with a rubber grommet plug in this hole, so it was already drilled and knocked out. But I do know that some machines do come with 2 knockouts that you got to knock out yourself. So with that being said, any questions or comments, leave them below. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.